Okay, good morning, guys. We showed you some, or he showed you some surprises that he did for me for our anniversary. He had set up all the decorations and everything. Another thing that we did is we have this marathon week, like he said, took the week off, so we're spending every day out here for a week straight, trying to get as much done as we can. We also spent the night in the bus last night. Okay, guys, it's our first night sleeping in the bus. It is our 1-year wedding anniversary and our 10 years together anniversary, so it's very fitting. This is also pretty fitting as well. It's extremely hot, but it's gonna rain, so we can't sleep with the windows open. And the only air mattress I could find was twin. So, I think this fits us perfectly. So that was fun. We learned a few things, noticed a few things, but all in all, it was so cool, and it felt so good to actually be able to sleep and stay in our house. How was your first night in the bus?
It was really, really good. We had pizza. We had pizza.
Tradition.
Yeah. It was fun. It was different. It was cool. It was motivating. It got me excited to keep working. I don't know.
Previously on Gus the Struggle Bus.
So what we're going to be starting with is cleaning up these wires that we have hanging over our heads. This one out, and this one out, and this one out, and this one out, and this one out.
Welcome to today's video. Today we are going to be working on the framing boards for the walls, for the ceiling, so we can get ready for insulation and all that good stuff.
Hold up.
Back to normal. No more fun decorations. So these are what we're going to be working with for our framing boards. They are 2x2 furring strips, and our plan is to do them along here, directly underneath the windows, as well as down here along this little lip sticking out on the wall, and then up and down on these channels as well. That will give us a lot of contact points for any walls or, you know, countertops or shelves or anything that we need to attach. And you will see more details on how we do that later. So let's get to work. Let's get to work. Okay, so we're here working on the first board. And like I said, we are using a 2x2, but generally a 2x2 piece of wood will end up being more like 1.5 by 1.5, and that ends up being the perfect width and length to fit flush against this little lip. And what we're also using is 7x2 inch screws, drywall screws. Then we are going to be using a 1/8 drill bit. We're going to pre-drill our hole through the wood and then through the metal. Then we take our screw, and we're gonna drill it in. We've already done a couple, so I'm working on the third one now. Some of the pieces of wood, like I said before, are a little wonky, bow-shaped, or not perfect. So we're using these weights that we have found to weigh it down to get it as flush with the lip of the wall as we can while we drill our hole and put the screws in. I'm drilling framing boards, Pipe. What? Isn't that exciting? Putting in the boards that will hold up our walls for our home.
So we finished up one whole side of the bottom, which puts us about 10% done with the walls. Now we're going to do the same thing on this other side, and let's get to it. So in order for us to pre-drill the right size hole for the number 7 screw, we're using the 1/8 drill bit. Now we've gone through 3 drill bits so far because they keep breaking. We were going to use my drill bit, which is titanium coated, but mine is too short. So what we're going to do instead is we're going to place the board on here, drill it through the piece of wood, and mark where it lands, then take the piece of wood off and then drill through the actual metal with a titanium coated drill bit.
Happening over here on this side is we were putting these screws through these channels, and that's where we were putting each one of our screws. But because this metal is so strong and we only have specific bits, the one that was long enough to go through both kept breaking, and we went through like 3 or 4 screws. But we thought we needed to put them there so it would be sturdy enough. But for this one, like he said, we tested out going through the wood and marking a spot, then taking it down, then drilling through this piece of metal. And now instead of going through here, we're going through here, I mean just this part, and seeing if it's sturdy enough, and it feels pretty sturdy and pretty good to go. So I think we're going to do that instead so we don't break any more bits, and then this will move a little bit faster. So we finished that one, and the system we have going works. Now we have to measure. The 8-foot piece fits perfect right here, but we have to measure one that goes right here. Right now we're skipping over the doors, the emergency doors, because we're not quite sure what we're going to do there. But we hold it up, he measures it and marks it, and then he's going to go cut it, and we're going to keep going. Bottom on both sides. Now we're starting to work on the rows on the top. We've hit a little bit of a dilemma because we're trying to figure out where to put the board. If we put it even with the bottom of the window, where we would screw into, one of these used to go here, so there's a hole directly there and it's too big of a hole, so we wouldn't be able to drill there. And then if we put it directly below the window to match up with this, there's a rivet pretty much all the way down right here. So we're trying to figure out where to put the board so it sits flush and we have a good spot to attach it. So what our game plan is we're gonna put it directly underneath the windows like this and put the screw just a little bit under the middle. So hopefully it'll hit underneath that rivet.
So a small trick that I thought about when I'm installing these and placing this up here was literally just to place a clamp like this so that the piece of board will have something to sit on. So that whenever we are testing it out, seeing if it fits, it'll literally have something to fit on. And all we gotta do now is pre-drill and drill. Let's get to it.
We have all the runners done, and now we're gonna start working on the ones that go up and down. Knocking it out, getting some walls, right, baby? Mm-hmm. 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 System to knock out these pieces of wood that are going up and down, and we're gonna hope that our bits last us through the rest of today.
So there are some that, because we grinded the screws out, still have a piece of screw sticking out through here. So we are measuring exactly where it landed, making sure that the hole that we pre-drilled is below that or above that. And then this one in particular has 1, 2, and 3 spots. So I'm just gonna go ahead and put it as far away as I can from those, and then I'll get a hammer so we can go ahead and make an indentation on those pieces.
This bird would really like to be a part of our video.
Yeah. Like that, we can go ahead and mark those spots with the drill and not hit any of those screws.
2 centimeters.
Another thing that I'm doing is with this pieces right here that have a rivet or a bolt sticking out, I am just hammering the indent to look something like this. You can see it. Now I'm getting my 1/2 inch bit and just making an indent in that spot. That should be good enough. And then by doing that, I assure that it sits flush with the beam.
So we were packing up for the day and thought we were all done. And we were going to close our side doors and lock them when we couldn't. Because our wall framing was in the way. We didn't cut a notch into the wood for this little tabby to go into. So we're gonna cut that real quick and see if we can solve this problem really quick. And lots of quickness. That's not that quick. So if you leave your original door locks on, don't forget to cut space for your tabby, that's what we're gonna call it today, to go into your wall and out so your door can lock and shut. Ta-da! Good?
Thank you guys so much for watching. We hope that you enjoyed this video and found it entertaining or educational. As you can see, we're done framing the walls, and now it's on to taller and higher places. So, you see them.
Okay, I see you. We hope you enjoyed this video. This is the way that we framed out our walls. Some people do it a little bit differently. Place their boards higher or lower, or use different dimension of boards. But this is how we did our walls because it'll work for what we are doing. We hope that the way that we did it was helpful. If it wasn't, let us know why. And if you think you have a better way to do it, let us know.
The number one tip that I can give you for framing out the walls is using clamps. Clamps are good to your friends. We had a whole system with a weight and whatnot, and it was just horrible. But the clamps are going to make sure that this stays as close down to this bottom piece right here as possible, and that you're able to keep it in place whenever you're drilling it.
Clamps, more than one drill, and a drill with more than one battery, and the correct and strong enough bits. One thing that we are probably going to go back and do is to areas like this, we are going to get metal brackets, like the straight ones instead of the L brackets, and use to support them and to keep them even. Please make sure to give this video a big thumbs up. If you have any tips for us or anything that you want to add, go ahead and leave it in the comments. And as always, if you're subscribed, thank you so much for supporting us. If you're not, what are you doing? Go and hit the subscribe button. And as always, enjoy life. Stay positive.
And keep going places. Suckaa!